Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have a friendly match for you guys today between me and Rara against Ghost and Osama bin Lifton. So this is going to be Paddy field. I'm taking, I believe, Eastern Bloc. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to be Eastern Bloc's Polish units, Czechoslovakian units, and I don't think I have any East German units in the opener, but I think Rara was taking, looks like Red Dragons there. And I'm going to be operating over in Gregory, so that's going to mean double Moderna at the start, just because I do like this opener. I know they're not as traditionally powerful as the Vihor, but the autocannons are very nice if you can get them to work. So also Prom S's, some flat contours, and a fair bit of chaff, along with some recon, going up to Gregory, while my ally Rara is going to be helping me out with some ATGMs in the town in Gregory, as well as just a bit of a focus in this one and a defensive posture in Anna until we get the game on its way, and then a later game push into Boris. That's the game plan anyway. We'll see how it works out. Mi2 row, by the way, went into low hover here, and this really hurts. So it's not something I'm used to doing a lot of, but switching the hover, I guess the elevation of helicopters strategically can be very nice. Right now, all of these trees are blocking line of sight on something with exceptional optics, so I really need to either launch them over, send them over trees so they can't go down to low hover, or make sure that I'm really doing that, because Intel wins this game. Recon wins this game. It's really pretty crazy how effective it is. So, my Modernas are up and shooting. My PT-76B's little, I guess, favorite unit of mine, even though it's just a 15-point recon tank, tankette, really. And we're making some progress against Osama bin Lifton here, but it's mostly just chaff, Yebagun, K200s. Good options all around there, as he does bring K1A1s, and he, I believe, was taking a South Korea deck, so no super heavies. It was another factor in bringing the Modernas instead of the Vihors. I didn't think I'd need all that punch. Peace Pheasant 2 is looking for my Modernas, so we're pulling back into the smoke, and double Neva SC is going to be enough to get that kill, although I think also the MiG did fire. A bit of a panic buy there for me. Probably should have done it if I had the Nevas already, but at least now we know that it's for sure well and dead. So, Stormer HVM from Ghost on that side. That is a little bit scary. This thing is, quite a powerful anti-air and even anti-ground piece, because those missiles can fire against ground targets at admittedly reduced range, and this is where I get a little bit worried. So double K1A1, they do still punch pretty hard, 22 AP power, it's just that they can't really take shots as well. So we're going to be doing something a little risky. I'm moving my PT-76B up, Moderna is going to be moving over, and I'm going to try and get a sneaky shot down the straightaway, because I think he's not expecting it, so we'll see what his K1A1s are doing. Also, the Mi2 row really needs to be moving up. I'm losing a lot of line of sight here, as my infantry and tank recon does get stripped away. So, Moderna's, one shot, two shots, down goes K1A1, 140-point kill right there. Just a little sad we couldn't get the other one, but M36s do come up there and take their place. Of course, we get some kills there as well, and it looks like both of the Modernas are on Elite. I think this might be an Eastern Bloc armored deck, if memory serves, yeah. Because we definitely didn't rank up that many times. I think I started them off either at Elite or Veteran. I kind of wish I'd gone back and seen that, but definitely Eastern Bloc armor. As I said, friendly game. Eastern Bloc armor versus South Korea. But meanwhile, over the left-hand side, Ghost is getting pretty aggressive here with some Warrior 90s. I don't have the tools to block him off, even with the K1A1 kill. Most of my supporting units are dead, so I'm trying to bring in more, and the reinforcement route on this map always surprises me, bringing stuff around the right, when what I wanted to do is I wanted to come down here and then go down the hill. So that's my intended reinforcement route, and this is what I get instead. But Zelaznichi will be just moving up a little bit of an early drop-off. Reservists are very slow at 15 km per hour, literally half the speed of elite special forces, who do admittedly have wheels for feet. Can you imagine keeping up 30 km per hour in full kit for that long? It's crazy. Dead on sprint. But, we have a hold for right now in Boris. Some units there, T-62Ds, of course, are just sort of your bog standard 25-point tank, and with a little bit better smoke cover, I was hoping to come back and push into Triangle, but this is a big mistake, and it's going to cost me, because with my lack of recon, I don't know where my opponent's stuff is over on the left, and I'm exposing side armor to Square Forest right now. If he had an ATGM, I'd probably already be dead. As it is, we're going to get shot here in just a second. Ooh, it might be when I move past it. I was trying to smoke off. Yep, there it is. There's the K1A1. I'm trying to smoke off his side, and we get a couple kills, but there it is, side shot, down goes one Moderna, and I'm trying to get out of there as quickly as I can But tanks are a little weird around town blocks. Sometimes they go through when you don't want them to. So I was having a devil of a time with the pathing, just trying to make sure that I'm not exposing side armor to something I don't want to. And meanwhile, K1 here is taking in some shots. My Prusminski are going to be moving back, and the Oat 810s are just going to be taking K1 shells. But here comes the horde of BMP ones. And these guys are carrying, I believe, Motschützen or something similar, line infantry, that sort of deal. These guys are, of course, Eastern Bloc units, so it should be Motschützen. And it's going to be a little bit funny. Just hang on here. I have something to show you. BMP1s versus K1. We'll see how we do. As that remaining Moderna is trying to move back, I do lose a Tor. Just a lot of pressure in from Osama, capitalizing on my super heavy mistake. That is, it's going to cost me big, at least for right now. So Moderna is moving up. That is Jigsaw Huagiban, which I really like. 1400 meter range is primo range for infantry, recoilless rifles. You see a lot that are shorter than that. I think Eastern Bloc is shorter than that. But Raskazin Korima, one of my favorite units for Finland, is the same range, and it's amazing. It really is. So Prom S's versus the K1s with that 5 strength. Here comes the ATGM down to 3. Maybe we can get another one. The Conquerors is not a very reliable missile and not the highest AP power, but against the K1 it can do some pretty decent work. There's the next missile. Down to, nope, we missed, but frankly, took a shell and we're fine. So 2 frontal armor really is a crucial breakpoint. If I had 1 armor, that would be dead. And as it is, we're kind of okay. K1 down to 1 point of strength and being chased by BMP1s who fire heat rounds, which means that they can and do get the kill on that sad K1 right there. Just BMP1 versus K1, not the result anyone expected. Moderna coming up this side, and I've now committed over into triangle, which is a bit of a mistake. I really should have just kept going with the square forest push. I think it would have been a lot better. I wouldn't have exposed my Moderna to that side shot there. And we do have another plane coming in, probably a Peace Pheasant, double Peace Pheasant too, 180 points split between these 2 planes, looking for that Moderna, and probably going to get it. My Smoke Micro is not on point right here, and no, we survived the first Peace Pheasant 2 coming in. MiG gets the stun, and Moderna survives with 180 points, seeking that Moderna, and we're still alive. That felt really good during the match, although I'll admit it's mostly just luck and the MiG getting an early stun. So F-111C coming in, my Nevas are nearly out of ammunition and they really need to be moved, so I haven't moved these in a while. We fire our last 2 shots, which does keep me from moving them then, get 1 tag and not the other, so the F-111C does get out. And we're having a bit of a hard time now over on the left as Ghost is taking advantage of our teamwork over here in Gregory, but we also do have a breakthrough into Fetter, so BMP1s will go chasing this Hawk Pip 2. It's a 70-point prize. If I can kill it, it pays for a lot of this push, just removing those tools from Osama bin Lifton's arsenal. If we can. He's a phenomenally good player, deserves the Major General. Of course, I'm just a lowly 2nd Lieutenant. Hoping to move up to 1st Lieutenant or maybe even Captain here in the next couple of weeks. We'll have to see how it goes. Playing ranked is always very stressful, and yeah, I'm not always feeling it. I enjoy a good team game, especially with some very cool, very nice players like Osama, Ghost, and Rara. So 25k coming in and looking for those Challenger Mark 1s, gets one, stunned on the way out, and that's going to be a one-way trip there for that plane. Just, I don't know, I think one strength remaining on the Mark 1, and I'm just moving forward. I don't have any anti-air in this, and that will potentially cost me. Eventually, I also don't really have much recon, so my Mi-2 row should have been moving over to the right and up and just staying sort of behind the BMP-1s, but giving them much better spotting. Of course, BMP-2s will still get kills when they get the opportunity, and we actually take out, I think, 2 transports for Jigsaw Huagiban, as well as potentially the Huagiban themselves, while, oh yeah, I mean, trading for BMP-2s is not great there, 20 points versus the 15 of the Huagiban, but against KFE-25s, I'll take those. A couple of nice kills there, and this whole push ended up being, roughly speaking, positive so far, just because we did get the AA piece, and then we got a couple of other pieces as well, but Motschützen are not the cheapest at 15 points, so not for free. K1 on that side, I have nothing to stop it. Motschützen do not have the armor piercing to take that guy on, anything short of side or back armor, and the BMP-2s are going to be just taken out here, one by more KFVs, more Jigsaw Huagiban, and the K1 that's retreating back, retreating out, staying alive, and the Jiwicha moving back just out of my range to hit, which was really just a little bit annoying at the time. I was really hoping to get some good work there, but Ghost is pressuring into Anna. We have most of this zone basically empty now as his units are moving forward in Mi-35 buy, so we're shifting over here, and this is where not consolidating in Gregory, where pushing Fetter is going to come to bite me a little bit, because if we're moving over now into Anna, both of us, that's going to mean that I have fewer points to really secure this position, to deal with the Lynx 20mm, to deal with the K1s, to deal with that G-Weed shot that I was really hoping to kill, although probably shouldn't have expected to against a player like Osama. But we also get a nice shot in, K1 is damaged. Never underestimate heat rounds, they will surprise you oftentimes. Even on very cheap units. And the Mi-35 is just trying to block this off. So anything that moves up, that I think is an ADATS. And we take it out with the Mi-35. Very, very nice there. Very happy about that. And unfortunately, the smoke micro is keeping that from being really an even better situation for us, as of course we have no recon in this section either, which consistent theme for us and definitely didn't help very much. So I'm trying to relieve pressure in a multitude of ways. I'm trying to send over a couple of units while my ally sort of fixes this and gets more of a front line again, and I'm also trying to make sure that, just like we are losing right now over in Feder, that we're able to get a forward cap in Gregory and really keep this position alive, because if we lose both and we lose Anna, that's the game right there. We are right now ticking +1 with an Anna cap, which is very, very risky, very, very dangerous, and if we can keep Gregory as well, then so be it, and we can win off 65 points up. That's alright with me. And it's going to take them some time, even with all of this stuff being taken apart. When my Motschutzen do engage here, they are doing decently well. I really should turn off the tertiary though, because it's just getting them spotted and taken out from afar, and the AH-1J is the perfect answer to this, since I don't have any anti-air. Although, I don't know, KFE-25s are what, 15 points, or are they 20? I don't quite remember off the top of my head. They're not cheap though, and we've killed a fair number, so still I think generally a good idea to push that. We'll see how it works out. Moderna, just following up here, trying to sort of zone this stuff out as I do engage with Tukjun Sa and Mistrals. And the Tukjun Sa will get a couple of kills here. They're just really good infantry, I think, for the price. But we do have the numbers, we do have the strength to take those guys out as well. At least that's the hope. So we'll see. And in the meantime, Rara is moving Lu Zhendui in, trying to recap this forest. Challenger Mark 1 is going to be on the receiving end of some fire from a PTZ-89, 21 AP power, 10 rounds a minute, I think auto-loaded, I'm not entirely sure. And I only wish that shot had landed, because 4 damage already to this guy. I think it's going to be... oh, okay, so that's not too bad. Another 2 damage with that shot as well. It should be enough to force him back here in just a minute. Yep, another 2. And he might very well get the kill, which could be very valuable. 65 points versus, of course, 105 on the Challenger Mark 1, but that last long-range shot does go awry. Ooh. Okay, yeah, no. Shooting at the diggers. Yeah, interesting tools. Not a lot of nations have things like this for 65 points. They can be very, very effective when used correctly. So I'm getting ATGMs forward. I'm trying to get Przminski forward to allow me some scouting into Feder. I'd have a really sloppy hold on the square forest, and I was just getting a little bit nervous that they might push back in here. They might push over from Boris, in which case I don't have much to stop that, especially now that Boris is capped for the Blue 4 team. And we are 0-0 now for ticking for Conquest, so that is going to be a problem. Plus, I did lose my anti-air to, I believe, artillery fire. Yeah, so those are gone, and Electric Voodoo, F-111C, that's a lot of air power, and those F-111Cs can be really, really nasty. Oh no, Nevas are up forward, and the MiG does chase them out, so we actually killed both of those planes there. Look at that, forgot that even happened. Yeah, 1-2, pretty good. And the Nevas are... yeah, they need to be resupplied, but I moved them farther forward for that reason, so that we could get a nice kill on things. It's a risky position, and especially when you fire this close, and there's a quick response time from enemy artillery. But Rara is moving in. He's trying to clear out the blocks here, the town blocks there, as well as just get a forward position in Boris, because it was entirely possible that the Blue 4 team expended most of their strength in that push and hadn't yet reinforced. That's sort of what we were hoping for. JH7, I think he's a bit drunk, that pilot, but he does get a kill on a recon helicopter, and let's see, can he get out? Let's look, and yeah, seems like it. Peace Pheasant 2, evac ordered, but did scare my Moderna back, so as soon as I saw that buy, I was sitting there going, yep, no, I'm out of here. We're not going to be doing that, no way, no how. And the BVP 1K with a hopefully surprise position. So this guy does have somewhat light armor. 3 frontal, 1 side, 1 back, 1 top. But the usual place for vehicle or sort of tank CVs I seem to find is either the L Forest or this section right here. And I was trying to get them to be confused why that wasn't working and HE shelling wasn't as effective as they might think it would be in this section of town. Plus, town blocks can block line of sight, so I have them right here, right scooched up behind this town block, hopefully just denying line of sight to anything in that arc, unless I completely lose the zone, in which case position wouldn't really matter all that much anyway. Plus, I get a decent retreat out of here. I can smoke this along this road and fast move out if need be. So that was the sort of contingency plan we'll see how it goes. I'm not entirely set on it, not entirely sold on it right now. But, yeah, worth a try. 15 points CS for the KFVs, and we do get a couple shots. But Jigsaw Wagibon and those is a brutal combo. I really like it quite a lot. Peace Pheasant 2 coming in. Base T72 though, 40 points isn't the worst thing if we lose it, and I think we did block line of sight by retreating into the woods. So far so not terrible, and we do also have a CV going up for Boris. Plus now with the Gregory cap, if we can countercap Boris, that is a +1 tick. Also we have a fair amount of control over the right hand side in Fetter. So we could cap that as well if need be, if we really did want to go for that +2, or if we had a hard time holding Boris, which this is a problem waiting to happen, and I knew it was a problem waiting to happen at the time. It's just one of those where I wasn't quite sure what to do about it. So, you know, Panzer Nietzsche will do okay in deeper forest, not up here. I was hoping just to see if I could pop the K1, but instead I shoot in at the Jigsaw Hagibon and get the kill. But 2 for 1, that's a bad trade for me, and I needed to have been bringing out more units for that already. Instead, seaplanes coming out here, and in part that's to handle the AH-1Js, going around the side from Osama bin Lifton, and these guys, we had some base defense, but mostly the PGZ-63s, that I think the H-1J, 2 of them will just kill. So we take one of those down, other one PGZ-95 gets rid of, and this was not really that necessary. It is also going to cost me, but, you know, Rara does use that to get a kill on Radar AA, unfortunately losing that plane as well. Very, very competent anti-air, really from both teams this game. Anything that flew over the middle usually didn't make it out, so, I mean, it's one of those where airplanes are a temporary power boost. They don't stay around forever, they don't move the front line on their own, so it's pretty risky. Speaking of, this is incredibly risky, but I admire the gumption. It really is just, you know what, you haven't come and killed it yet, that's fine with me. We're going to take that +1 while we can, 88 points to 18, because, you know, this is also looking pretty scary. Moderna does get a shot there, and here comes a plane, Peace Pheasant 2, looking for the wraparound. Where's my smoke? It's nowhere to be seen. 1 missile, 2 missiles, down he goes, I lose it. We do take out the Peace Pheasant 2, and it was just, we got so much value out of that tank, and then to lose it, in addition to its own kills, pulling in as many Peace Pheasants as we did, we've killed 4. How does he have more than that? I think we killed 4 anyway, maybe it's just 3. But the K1 is in the woods now, as Alice Nietzsche are not going to be able to handle that, and with my Moderna gone on this side, I really needed to have more. You can see Bontank Fagot teams here from Rara padding out some of my buying deficiencies, I guess, for units, but I needed some recon infantry here as well. And we do take out, you know, some of this stuff. He has to know if he moves forward, it's going to be shot at by Concours, but this is pretty close in. K1s can actually pop out and take shots and get even good kills on Concours teams in that position. Plus, there's more pressure over from Boris Commandos 90, FV 510 Warrior 90s, which for 20 points, 6 frontal armor, 5 side, 2 back, 2 top, it's no Martyr 3. But it's also 10 points cheaper, so you really can't expect the same armor values. And we're just hot dropping Vidra 2s and Panzerov Nietzsche here, not really expecting the best results, and we don't get the best results because I can't handle that K1. It was so annoying to be playing an armor deck and be getting a little bit, not trolled, but certainly zoned by a K1. Still, side shot on with the Concours, and the Promes did very, very well. So this guy, I mean, just killing Yebagun, but we'll take a look at the kills from the Promeses after this game. I think they, generally speaking, did very well. Challenger 1 Mark 1 from Ghost, we are getting doubled now into Gregory with the addition of the push into Boris, and that ZZZ command vehicle has moved back just a little bit too dangerous, even for our sort of approach. But another tank kill, and I think we are trading decently well here. It's just that my weird deployment into Triangle has gotten us control where we don't necessarily need it. Of course, that said, we have capped Fetter, and that's giving us a +1, even losing Boris. So if we can take this back, we get a +2. If we can hold here, we get a +2. It's just a matter of whether or not we can do it. But as Bob the Builder says, yes, we can. So that was the hope. If I go teams vending off, that's K1 again, and I really just wish I had resupply. But my Nevas are moving in, MiG-21 MF. Oh, I forgot I was using the rocket planes. Yeah. Gets out, too. Look at that. 1 kill and 1 evac. Fair enough. It's a goofy rocket pod plane. I only picked it up because of playing with Quicksilver when I saw him use it, and it was goofy and somewhat effective. It'll take me a little bit longer to learn that. But Bomber coming in, Peace Pheasant 2 following it up, and he's going for my AA, but unfortunately missed, and that means the second one is killed as well. Of course, it does cost me a tour. 80-point AA piece, 90-point plane, technically coming out on top, but I do hate losing my AA net. So that that rocket pod plane did not do nearly as well. I was hoping to get some shots on the Warrior 90s there. Actually, Did we get the kill? No, I don't think so. Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. Hoping to get the Warrior 90s, didn't quite get it. My Twardy here operating relatively alone. And if I could have popped those Warrior 90s on their side armor, I would have loved it. I was asking Rara to move up the ZDF 89s. I know what they are. I know they're ATGM vehicles, but I needed something to take shots for the Twardy, and the Twardy is more expensive. And this was catastrophic. If he got infantry, if he got Fusiliers 90 into that town, there goes the BVP 1K. So that maneuver right there, popping those warriors, is the one reason that I didn't start smoking this and moving out, because that would have been my only option. We would have lost them. So ZTQ 62G shooting in from that side, Twardy shooting in from this side. Fusiliers hopefully will not make it close enough. They are distracted by the Bond tank team as well. And Boris has just been incredibly tough to deal with. Charlie Marksman, by the way, taking a shot from the 22 M4P, which itself is taking a shot from Hawk Pips. There's a second volley. Probably going to get the kill. Yep, there it is. Down we go. Charlie Marksman, it's a nice kill for that, but the Hawk Pip 2s really making me unhappy. I copy this placement now for AA because I didn't realize how far it could reach over even Boris and Anna. It's really good. Really good position there for AA. It's less risky than farther forward, especially if there's still fighting going on in Boris, and it's less risky than the square forest, which does tend to get either bombed or clustered semi-regularly. So, bringing out points, I was floating a little bit here, so we're going to be bringing in some BMP-1s, some more PT-76Bs, more meat to support that Twardy, as another one is coming up. These guys, not true super heavies, but also not quite as expensive as them. The difference is going to be in the frontal armor. 20 frontal armor versus 21 is a big difference. Some even have, of course, 22 frontal armor, and it makes a huge, huge difference, dealing 1 or 3 damage against the super heavy that's shooting back. So, we didn't necessarily need it though. These guys, of course, do have really high veterancy coming in at elite already, and they can take on K1A1s, they can take on K1s. It's just that I need to keep them alive, and I need the chaff that's not quite there yet to come up and take some shots for me, which, I don't know, over time I feel like my playstyle is going away from Moto a little bit and becoming a little bit more of the attrition mech armored style of play, which has its benefits. If I can maintain the ability to do both, or develop the ability to do both rather, then it could be a really good thing, but it does make me feel bad sometimes for the casualties we take, because mechanized is not a playstyle that operates without losses. MI2 row, same one from the beginning of the game, finally moving up and just giving me as much vision as possible, but even that can't see into these woods quite yet. I mean, I'm assuming that there are going to be infantry in there, even though the MI2 row can't see them. It's just that they don't have a big enough signature. I'm not quite close enough. I think I might have to move up to roughly, half the distance. I could probably see things, but that puts me in range and line of sight for any anti-air that's behind it, which I've been burned by that before. It's not a good thing. Plus, I know that there was anti-air over in the square forest. If I move forward, if any of that is longer range, it could potentially shoot me from there as well. So, very much just taking a bit of a conservative play on that. BMP-1s, unfortunately stunned, and otherwise, this would have been really pretty good fire support. Of course, only 2 HE power on those guns, but 3 of them is good enough. And now here comes the double Twardy, taking those shots in, hopefully getting that K1, but Forest does block line of sight, so I had to move up pretty far, and just looking for that kill if I can get it. Ooh, so close. Of course, BMP-1s and Mote-Shootsen will die with the K1 pretty heavily, but still, never underestimate heat guns. They'll surprise you. Especially when that K1 is splitting its shots between the 2 BMP-1s. Here's the Twardy, there's the kill, and now we're going to hopefully stop and then sort of wait for the Mote-Shootsen to get up there and clear, just in case there is high armor-piercing infantry in that square forest. Is not something I wanted to deal with anytime soon. They did actually cap it as well, which annoyed me to no end, because, I don't know, my BMP is still here, I had a forward presence, they're capping it anyway. I've done the same thing before. It really can put people on tilt to have them feel like they're pushing a zone, and then you just cap it like it's no big deal. But we are taking +1 because of the Feder decap, because of the Boris decap, and it's really just knockdown drag-out fight here. This whole game was yeah, it was a friendly game, yeah, but even friendly games have their sweaty moments because nobody ever wants to lose. So Twardy's moving in, BMP's moving in, Mote-Shootsen moving in, and I think we have something a little bit goofy. Again, I'm just going to show it on neutral as soon as I see it coming in. Yeah, there, no, seed plane. Also Command Chieftain right there. Not really sure what that was for, considering everything's counter-capped, but it could have just been a... Sometimes you don't realize things are counter-capped, you think they're just capped. It can be a little bit difficult to guess that. So 22 M4P does get out. Really love those planes. I think they're on the lower end of price point, but still have good enough performance to make me happy. And this triple Prom S was here's a trial run. We're seeing what we can do with this. Triple concourse, triple main gun with, of course, 2,450 meter range. It's very long for an HE gun, especially one with 5 HE power. Oh, there it was. Apologies. Let's take a look. Man, can't see it. I think it got a couple units of infantry there, but it isn't going to be enough to get return on investment for the plane, because there is anti-air, right like I suspected, behind that column. Proms, taking out territorials, taking out their transports, decent zoning from that. Fago team is more cost efficient for it, but it doesn't have the follow-up against infantry that the Prom definitely can, and now we have the missiles going over against these KFVs as well, getting some of those, denying that reinforcement line. I really like this. I've never really been a fan of the Prom S. I couldn't usually get it to work for me, but very happy with it today. So I don't know if this is just a niche for that sort of dually capable vehicle, but the long-range ATGMs and the long-range gun, I mean, we're going to be shooting in Sochung Su getting shot from back here by 5 HE shells, and yeah, that's just, it's really good. Really, really good, because blocking off that reinforcement route means that if my opponent doesn't control Feder, they have to go up and through, or they have to just fight me on the open plane, which is never a place you want to be, particularly against an armor deck when you don't have super heavies of your own. So, it was a rough situation, that's for sure. Twardy's healing up a bit. Now we're going to be moving forward because my Moat Shoots do need help, and the Sochung Su 85 weren't that intimidating. 16 AP power. Twardy's, of course, not the heaviest armor, but 20 frontal armor can handle that just fine. So I'm hoping to get in here and sort of deal with these infantry. Jiwi Cha moving back. We have Decap Gregory now, +2 for the Red 4 team, and still moving on. Probably should have pulled these guys back. We are out of Concours, and I have a resupply right here. There's no reason really to risk this, especially because I don't do that good damage against anything approaching good armor. 2 frontal armor, better than I thought, but yeah, probably should have pulled back, resupplied, and then pushed forward, and gotten some more recon infantry around as well. Of course, recon infantry is a little limited in an armor deck, and this push from Rara was really kind of funny. These guys are 10 points vehicles. They're just basic wheels stacks, basic transports, and they're going to do a lot of good work. So this is this is a rough spot. We actually did also spot the Jiwi Cha, I believe, over there. Yep, and I wanted to point this out because it really impressed me during the game. Osama immediately noticed that I saw that. So he's dealing with all of this, he's dealing with all this stress, bringing in more stuff, and he immediately sees that his command vehicle was spotted over in Feder. Not when I even have many units over that way. Really crazy micro, really impressive micro. Just, wow, don't see that every day, and when you do, I think it is something worth remarking on. So, Neva SC is moving up, and of course now with Feder CV back in place, that is going to be back to a counter cap, but at this point in the game, with 12 minutes left, we're up 300 points. They need a +2 to come close to winning, maybe even, I guess it would win. 11 minutes at a +2 would win, but we have a +2 right now, so even if we lose, lose 2 zones on the counter cap, we'd still be 0-0, and so that's a long way to go for the Blue 4 team at this point, especially with Twardy's potentially able to peek out of here and get shots. Double K1 cannot handle that at all, and we are just getting a lot of long-range kills, which is pretty nice. I was really happy with that. I think the Promises will feature a lot more. It's just they do have to be scared of things like the K1, so when they're going to shoot here, they're going to expose themselves, and if the K1s had been pushing up, probably could have gotten the Promises. Of course, that is a riskier play against, known Twardy position, but I was also really worried that this position was going to get shelled or bombed. There was one Peace Pheasant 1, which probably means that there's a second one, because I think they come into Syria, is going in for the K1s. Bit of a long-range ask for this, probably not my best decision. I just wanted to peel those apart, but we do lose vision, and then get it again, but I didn't click in time, and we lose it again, so my Syria is a bit of a waste, and I think we actually side-shot a Challenger 1 Mark 1 on the other side of the map, so 105 points, and the Syria gets out, which was one of the goofiest plane calls I think I've done in a long time, all the way over here, coming around the side, going into the forest, shooting in there, getting the rear armor on a Challenger 1 from the other player than it was even intended to go in against. So, sorry Ghost for that, it was not intentional, I didn't even click on that, it's just where he decided to shoot. Wargame can be pretty darn goofy at times, that's for sure. So, another Promise coming out, just replacing the one with less ammunition. These guys are incredibly supply intensive, so I just bought a second one, because all I need them for is smoke. I'm not really dealing with that much infantry at the moment, I just need to keep my tanks alive, and make sure that I can get a forward presence. The OAT 810s are going to be screening, 5 points each, Moat Shoots trying to screen as well, and the Twardys hopefully taking some shots. Don't really know why I pulled back here. It could just be that with 10 minutes left and now up at 360 points, which means even a +2 is not good enough for our opponents to recover, I just didn't feel the need to push. So it does tend to drag out games sometimes, because if you push and you really make a big impact in the 2-pointer, things like that, then people will often surrender or just say, yeah, I mean, it's a loss, it's fine. But if you just sit there, they sometimes gather for a counter push and push in, and oftentimes have success there, even if it's not quite enough, or if it's just barely enough. Like if we lost Fedor Boris Gregory to one huge surprise push, and looking at this side of the screen, it may seem like I'm trying to blow smoke up your ass. I'm not. It's happened to me before where I dramatically overestimated the points difference and paid for it. So it definitely can be a thing. It definitely can happen. I've lost games in the last 10 or even 5 minutes that I was winning for 30, and man, it really messes with you. So it does also just imbue a bit of caution, and that's what we're doing right now. It's just being a little cautious, trying not to make too many mistakes here, and just taking the fact that we can zone them out here, no problem. Promises should have moved up already, and I should have had more resupply, but there it is, coming in pretty soon. And just team more 90-point Wilks. These guys, I don't know how their stats compare with the K1. I think it's a little bit better, the K1 anyway. Heavier armor, I want to say. But, still 90-point tank. They'll come up, there'll be additional armor, additional tank guns. And in response to this, so Osama is pushing with Yebagun K200s in front of 2 K1s. We are going to be pushing up, looking for those kills. I was right-clicking on the K1s, trying to get shots on those guys, because they are the high-value targets in this, not the Yebagun. But get a little bit distracted by line-of-sight problems and just the sheer amount of chaff. It's another reason why that sort of stuff is good against... ooh, shot in there. K263 survives. Rough. It's another reason why supported super heavies always win against unsupported, because in the long run, the unsupported ones will get distracted when the supported ones won't, just by sheer number of targets. And you can right-click all you want, but if your tank takes the first shot on something else, now it's reloading, and that gives the first shot and a half, basically, to your opponent, which can be pretty worrisome. For sure. So Boris has been pretty much entirely retaking Command Chieftain, moving out at the last second. We're up to a +3, 434 points deep out of 500 in this match now, and as long as I can hold this spot, we're probably okay. As long as Rara is pushing them out, we don't even need that Command Chieftain to be dead necessarily. Just keep him moving, keep him unhappy. Chamaho 5 should be able to get the kill here. Second tank shot on the way. There it is. That's the kill, actually, from the Geogos Die 90, the Type 69-3 rocket. 23 AP power, 50% accuracy. It's good. It's no apple loss, but it is definitely something that can hit very, very hard. And that +3 is going to probably wrap up the game here in just a minute or two. Of course, it is 45 points per minute, and we only need 30. So with that, well played to both Ghost and Osama. I'm very grateful that we have the opportunity to play more games with each other recently. And if you want to see more games like this, please don't hesitate to like, share, subscribe, all that YouTuber nonsense that I have to ask for. So kills, losses, 6,294 kills, 4,165 losses. And my own KD I was pretty happy with. Now, playing an armor deck into South Korea is a bit of a... it was a generous move from Osama, who is a far better player than I am. And that, I think, did give me an ever so slight edge just in those tank-on-tank fights that, had it been equal tanks, would not have gone my way. So, Moderna shooting in, lots of Yebagun, lots of chaff. We do get a K1 here, and a bunch of KFV-25s. The other one, I think, yeah, K1A1, K200s. Neither one, well, they both kind of came close to paying for themselves, but probably not the stars of the show. I'm going to have to give that to the BMP1 in this case. Jigsaw-Hwagibon, KFVs, Hawk Pip 2 with 70-point kill right there, and it was not an exception, it was rather kind of the rule in this game, as we took down a K1 with another BMP1, a Mistral team, Susaik Dai, and just a large number of units. I underestimated the BMP1 for a long time. I'm not going to make the mistake of doing that anytime soon. Also, the Promises, not sure they all got the best performance here, but pretty nice. Had really no complaints. So that's going to be the game. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.